Alright, welcome back to Packet Tracer. This is 6153 configuring RIP. We will be configuring routers using our basic interface configurations. Commands will be enabling RIP and verify our RIP configuration. So a simple routed network has been set up to assist in reviewing RIP routing behavior. In this activity we will configure RIP across the network and set up in devices to communicate on the network. So from the CLI, we will configure the interface on the SVC01 right here. So once at this one, we are configuring the fast Ethernet 0/0, and we're using the IP address 10.0.0.254, which makes the subnet mask 255.0.0.0. We'll do a no shutdown. And we will change to interface of a serial port now. 0/0/0. And we're using the first usable IP address in the network, 192.168.1.0/24, which means it's going to be 168.1.1. And we're, what did I do? I forgot the subnet mask. And we're also going to want to set the clock rate for the serial port. Alright, and now we're going to issue that a no shutdown. And then move on to another serial port. Spelled it wrong. And that is going to be the network of 192.168.2.0. So the first usable one is 1. Subnet mask is like so. And I'm looking for the clock rate command. There it is. No shutdown. So now we will move on to configuring RIP so they can advertise the networks for the configured interfaces. So we will go into router RIP, and then we want to go to version 2. So we just simply need to list the networks that we already have connected our interfaces to. So that was 10.0.0.254, 192.168.1.0, and 192.168.2.0. Let's do a couple exits here. Make sure everything's saved. So now we need to configure our end devices. So we're going to server 0 here. So it uses the first usable IP address in the network. 10.0.0.0. So the gateway will be 001. And let's see, Fast Ethernet down here. The IP address and subnet mask is right. That should be everything we need for the server. And now the printer. The IP address uses the second usable IP address in that same network, so 10.0.0.2. Subnet mask fills in. The default gateway. Should be there. Now we need to configure router 01 router and enable RIP on that one. So we'll go into the CLI and we will be configuring some more interfaces. So 0/0 will be the first IP address and the 192. Whoops, got ahead of myself. 192.168.0.0 network. So that's going to be 0.1. So we'll do a no shutdown on that to make sure it's up, and then change to interface serial 000 IP address the second available in the 1.0 network, which is going to be 1.2. And configure another fast Ethernet address with 0/1 using the IP address 172.168.254.254 with a subnet mask of 0.0. It was the 172.168.254.254/16, which means 2 of the octets are used for the host and 2 are used for the network. So that's why the first 2 are 255, the last 2 are 0. No shutdown, and I'm going to go back into the serial one here and do a no shutdown because I forgot it. And so we just need to exit down to here. Oh, went too far. We're going to router RIP version 2. So we're putting all our networks on here, which was 192.168.0.0, 192.168.1.0, and 172.16.254.254. sure everything's saved there. And now we're going to configure the end devices. Got some green happening, which is a good sign. PC0 uses the first usable IP address. In the 172.16.00/16 network. 16.0.1. Subnet mask does it for you. Default gateway. Right there. And PC1. What are we doing? IP address uses the second in that network, 0.2. Alright, and we have got the default gateways and subnet masks for those already in, and now we will do it one more time. RTR02 here needs to be set up for RIP. So here we go again. We need to first set up our interfaces. 0/0. The first address in that network. Subnet mask. I'm just getting ahead of myself. No shutdown. Looks good. And then we'll move to interface serial 000 using the second. Using the second address in the network 192.168.2.0, which is 2. Subnet mask, no shutdown. There we go. And then we will do the fast Ethernet 0/. Try this again. 0/1. And we are configuring that one to 172.172.5.4.254/16, which means we're going to have a 0.0 on the subnet. And we are going to make sure it's up. And now we are going to configure RIP. So we will come down here, do our router RIP version 2, 192.168.0.0, 192.168.2.0, 172.172.172.254.254. And now we will configure the end devices. Big surprise. So PC2 down here uses the first usable IP address of 172.17.0.0. So 172.1. First usable IP address is 1. It's going to make the default gateway the same. Oh, wow. That's the DNS server. 72.17.0.1. And then PC3 is going to be 172.17, the second address there. And the default gateway. So, everything should be set up. We have all green blinking lights, which hopefully everything is connected properly. So at the command prompt for each router, we will issue the commands show IP protocols and show IP route to verify that the RIP RIP routing is fully converged. The show IP protocols command displays the networks the router is advertising and the addresses of the RIP routing neighbors. And the show IP route command output displays all routes known to the local router, including the RIP routes, which are indicated by R. So every device should be able to successfully ping any other device. So let's look at router 1 first. Show IP protocols. Routing protocol is RIP. That's good. Version 2 down here. So that looks good. Let's try router 2. So show IP protocols, it's RIP. It's got the 3 ports that we put on it. Let's also forgot to do a show IP route. So it's got the R here of the ones that we set up for RIP. So that looks good. So let's try to ping something here. Get a little notepad so I can remember what I'm doing here. So server over here is 10.0.0.1. So let's try to ping that from PC1. So we got some sort of a problem, and I'm thinking we have ports that are not all the way opened. Let's see. We can look at this. These are all up, 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 down. Let's see. It's not using that port though, so that shouldn't be a problem. And these are all up. So let's check our results and see if it tells us what we've missed. We're at 87%. We have all sorts of incorrect default gateways. Okay, so we have some bad default gateways. Would have been on all the hosts that we did. So take a look at that, see what we can figure it out. Alright, so after looking through some things on the default gateway, I figured out my problem here, and I've already changed it on the server. As you can see, I had the 10.0.0.1 as the default gateway, but it should have been the address of the router, which if you see this connection right here is fast Ethernet 0/0. So if you look at that one, the IP address is .254, so that's what I've changed this to. So you can see now the gateway is 254. So it's the same thing with this one, 254. And this one is going to be FA01, which is 172.17.254.254. And this gateway is going to be FA01, which is 172.16.254.254. So that should be better. So now if we try to ping this one, which is 10.10.10.0.0.1 from this computer here, it's still not working for us. Let's check our results to see if we've got everything set up. It could be a case of just it not loading. And it's got 100%, everything's check marked, so I'm guessing it just didn't get everything loaded. Oh, I didn't even notice it did actually start receiving them, so in the middle of my ping, it did start working. Let's do it one more time. So there you go. Success. Let's try to ping PC3. So 172.17.02. So we have everything set up. I pinged from here, this PC to this server, I pinged from this PC to this PC. So everything's connected, we're at 100%. And that is configuring router RIP on a whole bunch of things to get the networks to recognize each other. And we've done it successfully. Thank you for watching.